This is the system that I am also using for myself in order to control. We said that these are automatic negative thoughts that we feel that we cannot control them, but we can. Every time I have to give a presentation at a conference or an event, and as the day approaches, I feel my mind getting flooded with ants. What, you might say? What have ants have to do with your presentation? Well, that's what I'm going to explain to you today, and I'm not referring to ants as the insects we all know. Hi, my name is Vassia. I'm a psychologist, and I am here in order to help you today understand anxiety and how it starts and how we can actually reverse it and recover from it. So, what I'm talking about is what we call in psychology ants, automatic negative thoughts. And this is where we start thinking without realizing that our mind is producing negative thoughts. Like, for example, what I said before about the presentation, when I'm about to go on the stage, there are some thoughts that I cannot control. They're just coming up. What if I mess up the slides? What if I forget my words? What if people start laughing at me? Or what if everybody thinks that I'm incompetent? What if, what if? These are automatic thoughts that they just pop up. And there is something quite functional in them. Like, for example, we needed automatic negative thoughts throughout the history of our existence because that was what protected us from threats and dangers. Like, for example, when our ancestors used to hear a rustle in the bushes, then they started thinking automatically, what if this is an animal and it's going to kill me? Then they would seek for protection because of the automatic negative thoughts. So these thoughts are there, automatic, reflexive thoughts that they will arise in the face of perceived threat or stressors. We need them, okay? So what are some common automatic negative thoughts? It's, for example, when we catastrophize, when we think of the most disastrous result of something happening in our lives. Like, for example, you might have a headache, and your automatic negative thought might be, what if it's not just a simple headache? What if it's an aneurysm? What if it's a brain tumor? What if? So you see that we bring the disaster that as if it's the end of the world, a very extreme result on what is happening right now in our lives. Another example is when we overgeneralize. So we take one incident, an isolated incident, and then we generalize it, usually assuming that this will be applicable for the rest of our lives. Like, for example, you make a mistake at work or you said something that was wrong, and then your automatic negative thoughts would be, what if everybody now believes that I'm stupid? What if I will lose my job and nobody will want to hire me again? What if I'm not only a failure at work, I'm a failure in all aspects of my life? I know they sound extreme, but these examples really happen in our brain in moments of extreme stress or fear. Another example can be when we assume that we know what other people are thinking or feeling, and that is called mind reading. So, and usually we assume the worst, you know. So, for example, when your friend cancels the plans that you had, and you immediately think, your automatic negative thought is, yeah, I knew that. They don't like me. They never liked me. Or they will not want to hang out with me anymore. So we assume what they are thinking, what their intentions are. So these are the automatic negative thoughts. What we're going to do is we are going to understand what the automatic negative thoughts are, and we are going to learn how to recognize them, but also how to reverse them. This is the system that I am also using for myself in order to control. We said that these are automatic negative thoughts that we feel that we cannot control them, but we can. So this is the system that I use. And It's called S.T.A.R. That's the connection between the ants and the star that I said in the beginning. Follow these 4 letters so that you can actually have more power and more control over your automatic negative thoughts. The first one is S. What does S means? It means sense. Use your senses, listen to your senses so that you can understand when a shift happens in your body. Before we realize that we have automatic negative thoughts, usually our body knows that already. So maybe you feel your stomach, feel maybe a headache, or maybe you feel your shoulders tense, or maybe you're sweating. You definitely feel a different emotion, apprehension, or discomfort, or restlessness. You feel something. So listen to your senses and your emotions first. That's the first step in order to recognize it. And what happens when you do that? Then we go to the second letter of the star, the letter T. Then I invite you to pause. This is where time stops. If you keep being busy, you're not going to be able to recognize the automatic negative thoughts. You're going to miss that moment. You're going to skip that moment. But we need to pause for a moment. Wait a minute, I'm feeling tense. Wait a minute, my stomach feels weird at this moment. What is happening? We need to pause so that we can go to the next step, which is letter A, becoming aware. Aware of the thought. What is it that I'm thinking about me or my task or my future or other people at this moment? This is where we stop and we try to realize what is the cause of this discomfort that our body feels. For example, we might realize, oh, yeah, it's because I'm thinking about my presentation. What it is exactly that I'm thinking about the presentation? Well, I'm thinking of everything that might go wrong. I might forget my lines. People might laugh at me, or people will be bored. Oh, that's my automatic negative thought. I get it now. Okay. So this is where we become aware, recognizing the automatic negative thoughts. This is where you see the words actually in your mind that's saying you will get embarrassed or people laugh at you and you're not qualified enough. And that's why we need all these 3 steps before we go to the next step, which is R, reverse. And there are many techniques. I'm not going to share all of them here because there are many. I will use them for the next videos that we're going to do. The reverse means you take the automatic negative thoughts and you start to reversing them into thoughts that can help you in that stressful moment. And I say the word helpful because we don't want to turn the automatic negative thoughts into positive thoughts necessarily, but we want to turn them into helpful thoughts. So in this step, the reverse step, the exercise that I would like to ask you to do is ask yourself these 2 questions. Is my aunt true? Is the automatic negative thought true? And the second question, is it helpful? If, for example, I am thinking, what if this headache is a brain tumor? Is that true? I don't know. The answer is I don't know. The answer is not no or yes, because I don't know yet. It's just an idea that I had in my head. Or I will forget my lines in the presentation. Is that true? No, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I will forget them. It's an assumption, but I don't know if that's true. So this is where our mind jumps into conclusions about the future and hijacks our brain, our mind, and we go into this negative rabbit hole. So we ask the question, is it true? If it's not true, if we have evidence that it's not true, then we change these sentences into I don't know. I don't know if I have brain tumor, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I don't know if I will forget my lines, and I will not assume that this negative event will happen. Is that thought helpful? No, it's not helpful because I'm just 5 minutes before my presentation and suddenly I feel that everything will go wrong and I feel even more stressed. And everything I used to remember, now I'm forgetting them. So now I have even more chances to forget my lines because I got stressed because of these automatic negative thoughts. So we turn the negative thought into something which is true if we know something is true, or into something helpful. And helpful can be, I don't know if I will forget my lines, and I'm not going to think about that right now. I'm going to focus in thinking that there are people outside waiting for me, and I'm excited to give this presentation because I have so many things to share with them. I don't know how it's going to go. I hope that it will go well, but I will let the future moment show me how it goes. So that's us reversing it. Instead of taking these automatic thoughts as the ultimate truth, we are questioning them and we are reversing them. So, to wrap it up, STAR, use the STAR method. Listen to your senses when you feel something changing in your body or your senses and your emotions. Then time stops. Allow yourself a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes so that you can understand what's happening. Don't be busy all the time because you're going to miss that important information. Aware. Become aware of these thoughts. Ask yourself questions. Wait a minute, why I'm thinking like that? Maybe because I'm thinking about the presentation. What it is that I'm thinking about the presentation? I'm thinking A, B, C, D, all the thoughts that you have. You can also write them down. That makes it even more helpful. And then going to reverse, one of the methods that you can use is ask yourself, is it true and is it helpful? And reverse it to something which is either true or helpful. So, as I said, there are many techniques. I'm going to share more of them in the following videos. We're going to do a sequel of videos, Understanding Anxiety. The first one is about understanding the automatic negative thoughts. We will follow up with understanding core beliefs, which is also another pillar of anxiety, the core beliefs we have. And then we are going to talk about cognitive distortions. You're going to be an expert at the end of this sequel, right? So, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for watching. If you need more help because you're struggling with anxiety, because it's very overwhelming, because it has actually impacted negatively all aspects or many aspects of your life, see the link that I have in the comments. Get in touch with me. Me and my team, we are supporting individuals that they're struggling with anxiety, depression, burnout, relationship issues for more than a decade. So we are here in order to support you with all the tools and the strategies so that you can feel better really soon. So grab the link, book a session, and we can start making you feel better very, very soon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. See you next week with the part 2 of Understanding Anxiety. Take good care of yourself.